Hey everyone, welcome back to Sean's Trains. Today I'm doing a fun little video about weathering some wheel sets. So I had a video, or I took a video and I watched a train just cross through in Waukesha here, and I really wanted to pay attention to the wheels because I'd bought a set of wheels, excuse me, Athearn 33-inch Intermountain 33-inch metal wheel sets, so I can finish upgrading some of my rolling stock. All I have left is 36s, so I need to get some of these. And I paid a lot of attention to the train rolling by 2 days ago. I got a little video of it, and I was looking at the wheel sets because I've been painting all mine with just this flat rust that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It's $1.99, and it worked pretty good. So now I'm starting to work on mixing colors. So I've got my little palette here. I've got some Tester's thinner. I've got rust with some black and some red, and then I've got silver, and then I had let's see here, flat steel, and then I mixed some rust in, then I put a little bit of black just to give it a little bit different texture. I'm kind of going through the stages of wheel wear and rusting. So that's what I'm using. I've got these nice little brushes I also picked up at Hobby Lobby a while ago. These guys have worked pretty good. I mean, they're fine, they're easy to get in there, and they're working really good. I haven't had to clean the points on any of these yet. And then I've got these little alligator clips on the ends of skewers here I picked up at Hobby Lobby for a very fair price that are working great. And then what I did is I just have a cardboard box in front of a fan, so I'll paint the face, paint this part of the axle, paint the backside, stick it in there in front of the fan, and by the time I'm done with the rest of them, this is ready to come out, switch to the other side, and paint the backside of the other wheel. So let's get started. First thing I want to do here is actually I'm going to excuse me. First thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to mix a little bit more black into this paint. So what I've been doing is pouring out just a little bit of a base color into a palette and then adding to it to get different colors and whatnot. So I'm going off of the steel here. I'm going to add some more black. I'm just going to mix it up here a little bit. All I do to mix my paint is roll it between my hands on its side, and that seems to be doing the trick for me. It saves me from having to buy a paint shaker. Do this for a couple of minutes each time you use it, and not only does it warm up the paint to help it move a little bit and flow, but it also mixes the paint pretty well. One thing I've noticed mixing the paint with the brush is it's kind of a pain. It doesn't always mix the best, but that helps, gives you different colors on the wheels, different spots and whatnot. So we're going to darken the silver up a little bit, do another set of wheels, and then I've got 4 more sets after this. I'm going to get a good amount of rust. What I might do is go back to my original rust and lighten it up with some white. I also have a matte gray that I can add to it to lighten it up. The steel is mostly so you get that kind of sparkle of a newer wheel with maybe a little bit of use out of it. So what I'm going to do with this black this time is, because I'll be using more of this, is I'm going to add it to the color palette here, right in the middle. Get my paper towel ready here to kind of wipe it off. There we go. That way the cap doesn't stick to it so much later on. Always cap your paints so they don't dry out on you. My thinner is slowly evaporating on me there. So we're going to take some of this black, move it over here. I'm going to darken up the steel a little bit. I mean, after all, that is what rust is on these wheels, is rusted steel. So if you start with that and go darker from there, I don't think you can really go wrong. The silver is hard to dilute, it seems. I've had a fair amount of trouble trying to get it to dilute well. You're kind of getting some different colors that aren't necessarily natural. What I may end up doing is just adding some more black to this rust, or adding some brown to the black for some darker wheels. And based on the fact that this isn't changing much, I think I might try doing that. Add some silver. And this is how you learn, is just by a little bit of trial and error, trying out some different things, seeing what works, see what doesn't. This paint here, the brown, the rust, is drying out a little bit. It's been out for a couple of hours. I've tried thinning it up a little bit. I've added a little black, I've added a little white. So we're kind of getting to the end of what we can do there. Got a lot of black paint in here, so it's going to take a little bit to lighten it up. So we're getting kind of a lighter color here. It's nice. That silver is really diluting it pretty powerfully. So this is going to kind of give you the grimy wheel effect. I hope. This is honestly the first time I've done this without just using just straight rust. That is what I did last time. Now to paint the wheel, we'll zoom in here a little bit more. Alright, we'll see if we can get that focus there. And just take it, paint around the inside. Make sure I get the outside of the tread there. And you still get a little bit of a sparkle. I don't know how well you can see it. I don't think you're going to see it too well in this light here. Yeah, that's not going to come out well on camera, it doesn't seem like. So I'm not a big fan of the sparkle at this point. This should be grimy. But I'm just going to finish up this wheel set, and we're going to try a different tactic to avoid this deal. But we're going to finish this one off here. Being careful not to get the point. And then we'll paint the back side. And then we'll paint the axle itself. Just like that. Now what I'll do is I'll set this here. This will get set over in my box, and I'll do the next few. So I'll admit, that was a failure. That did not work out how I had hoped. So I'm going to try something a little bit different here. We're going to go with a little bit of straight black. Clean that off a little bit there. And we're going to take some brown rust and add that to the black, because that color, the black with the silver in it, basically just looks like the wheel set as it was before. And I don't want that, so let's get this guy cleaned off. Set him aside to dry. Sorry about that, folks. Didn't mean to shake it up there. Speaking of shaking it up, we're going to mix up this rust a little bit. It's been a few minutes since I've used them. Just get a few drops of rust in that black there. Really just want a little bit lighter than black. That's the goal. It actually seems to mix pretty well. I'm pretty happy with it. So it is just a little lighter than black. So let's do a couple of these. Now the idea with the matte paints is it shouldn't have too shiny of a finish so that it stands out. Should not be glossy. Now I'm hand painting these because that's what I prefer. I don't have an airbrush. I don't care to airbrush. I don't want to airbrush. This is just my preference. So let's see if I can get another one done here, see how this turns out, and I can show you guys. Hopefully it comes out on the camera all right. Just making sure that I get all the surfaces that aren't going to contact rail or something else. Now the premise of having all these different colors, so I got a dark rust, I have a light rust, I have the silver, or the steel with some rust, and the black, is that you're getting different levels of wear and use. So when I watched the train come through, it was just cool seeing all the different color wheels just on one car alone. I saw a tank car that looks like it had a long life, had been patched a couple of times. Had 4 different color sets of wheels, so you know that thing was definitely getting used and it was definitely getting taken care of. So I'm going to try turning this off quick. Let's see if we can zoom in here just right. So that should be a pretty blackened wheel with just a hint of brown. I would probably like to see a little bit more brown. So I might see how this does when it dries and then add more to it. But I'm going to do a handful of these and then go back to trying a couple different things. But that's essentially all I'm doing here. Once they're done, they'll get installed in various cars randomly. The cars that get the silver wheels or the darker silver wheels, or steel I should say, are going to get blue bearing caps painted on them as well. That'll reflect that the car's been shopped and maintained, repaired, etc. So I'm really interested in seeing how this turns out. I think it's going to be cool. I think it'll be exciting. Basically, these will be the only steel, or I should say newer wheels I'll have. Everything else is going to be shades of rust and black. And that'll give a nice impression that I've got an aging fleet that's slowly being maintained. Thanks for watching Sean's Train, sponsored by Superior Scenics. Check them out today at superiorschenics.com, and we'll see you in the next video.